Hello and welcome to the O Double channel with me, Olayemi Oluwadamilola. And yes, I haven't posted in a long while, like 2 weeks ago. Yes, and I sincerely apologize for that. So many programs, so many different things, and I really did try to post some things, but time wouldn't just let me be. But here I am. I had to make time if time won't let me be. So here I am for you. And today we're talking something quite serious, but I'm going to try my best not to make it sound really serious, but it is very serious because I experienced it and I know a whole lot of people who also experienced it. So what exactly is this thing I'm going to be talking about that sounds really serious, but I'm not going to make serious? Okay, so the topic is about parenting styles. The kind of parenting style you adopt, how does it affect your child? We're going to talk about that. I am going to talk about that. And there's so many things that will be unleashed, so many things that will be exposed, so many things that there are to learn from this video today. So over time I noticed that everybody behaves and reacts to things differently. The way I will react to some kind of situations will be different from the way another person will react to a situation. And I learned all of those things because right from when I was in JSS went up to my SS3, I was in boarding school, and then I moved to university straight, and it was more like another boarding school again because it was a private school. So it was more like another boarding school again. So I saw different things. I see some people, oh my parents, oh my parents, oh my parents, oh my dad, oh my mom, oh my this. And then I kind of found out later on that it is the kind of parenting style they had that's making them behave like that. And I see the ones who are very loving, who are welcoming, who are, has a very large heart and openness of mind. And I see that even when the parents come to visit them in school, that's the way the parents are. So they learn from that. So the kind of style you adopt as a parent affects the reasoning of your child, affects the self-esteem of your child, affects everything that you can think of mentally, spiritually, physically, academically, everything, financially. Affects how your child thinks and behaves and reacts to situations and circumstances surrounding that child. So there are 4 basic types of parenting styles. We have the authoritarian, the authoritative, the permissive, and the uninvolved. The authoritarian, the authoritative, the permissive, and the uninvolved. So these are the 4 major types of parenting styles, although there are some other types, but I'm gonna basically be talking about this particular 4 basic types and most common types of parenting style. So if you want to know if you fall under the authoritarian style, you need to understand that as an authoritarian style of parenting, you are only focused on obedience. It is my way or no other person's way. Yes, you choose punishment over discipline. And then if you are the authoritative kind of parent, you are the kind of parent that creates a positive relationship and enforces rule. You be like, for this and these are the rules. For eating food in this family, these are the rules. For talking in this family, these are the rules. And then if you are the permissive kind of parent, you are the kind of parent who will say, you know what, children are always gonna be children, kids are always gonna be kids. So there's no point being angry when they do some things. There's no point being aggressive. There's no point being sad. There's no point beating them when they react in some ways. You're just going to be like, children are going to be children. Yeah. And then if you are the uninvolved, I'm sure you already know what this means. So the uninvolved means that, if you are the uninvolved kind of parent, you provide little or no guidance, no nurturing or attention to your child. That is the kind of parent you are. If you are uninvolved, as where you fall in. If you're the kind of parent who you show little or no attention, no nurturing, no guidance, you just let the children be, you don't care if they get advice from outside or from wherever it is, then you are under the category of uninvolved parenting style. Yes. So I'm going to start with this that says, your parenting style can affect everything from how your child weighs to how he or she feels about himself or herself. It is important to ensure your parenting style is supporting healthy growth and development, because the way you interact with your child and how you discipline him or her will influence that child for the rest of his life. And that's very true. So, for the first kind of parenting style, that is the authoritarian style, you need to ask yourself these questions and you need to check if you sound like this. So you need to say you believe kids should be seen and not heard. If that's your belief, then you know that you're an authoritarian parenting kind of person. When it comes to rules, you believe it is your way or the highway, then you know that you are under the authoritarian parenting style. And if you're that kind of person that says you don't take your child's feeling into consideration, you don't care about your child's feeling, it's all about your feeling. You are that kind of person that will tell your child that, you know what, I came to this world before you, what do you know? I don't care about what you feel, I don't care about what you know, I don't care about what's going on in this generation. As long as I came to this world before you, you've got nothing to say. If you are that kind of parent, then you fall under the authoritarian parenting style. So if any of those ring a bell in your ear, like it's doing grrr, grrr, grrr in your ear, you might be an authoritarian parent. So authoritarian parents believe kids should follow rules without, exception. There is no what if, there is no if. It is you should follow. And there's nothing like if you should, or daddy if I should, or mom if I should. There is nothing like that. It is I said you should follow and then you should follow. Authoritarian parents are famous for saying because I said so, because I said so. They are the I kind of person. So the child grows up and says I am, I did, and is not saying we. So you know where this is coming from. Yes. So when a child questions the reason behind the rule, they're not interested in negotiating. Those are the kind of parents that fall into, the authoritarian parenting style. They don't negotiate and their focus is on obedience. You do what I say you should do, otherwise you'll be punished. The moment you fail to do what they said you should do as a child, then you punish. And as a parent, the moment your child does not do what you say they should do, even if you're trying to come to terms or compromise and say, let's meet in the halfway, let's meet in the middle, you don't do that. The moment they just slightly by chance do not do what you want them to do, you just deal with that. So yes, they don't, and authoritarian parents also, they don't allow kids to get involved in problem-solving challenges or obstacles. Instead, the parents make the rules and enforce the consequences with little regard for the child's opinion. Like they keep using that word, as long as I came to this world before you. I came to this world before you. What do you know? You don't know anything. What this and that. So they keep using that word and they don't care about the child's opinion. So you fall as an authoritarian parent if you are doing any of this. Authoritarian parents may use punishment instead of discipline. They don't discipline, they use punishment. Once you break the rule, once you break the law, they use punishment and they don't use discipline. So rather than teach a child how to make better choices, they are investing in making the kids or the child feel sorry for their mistakes. They are not the kind of parent that will say, you know what, you need to learn from your mistake. If you fail today, that's not the end of the world. If you do not achieve some things today, it's not the end of the world. Some people who made it in life had to try 101 times before they successfully made it in life. But no, that's not the kind of parenting style you have. You just tell your child, if you fail today, you're going to fail the rest of your life. Yes. So that child grows up and fails at some point in time and be like, and my dad said it, I am a failure. Yeah. That's what you're building for your child. All right. Another one says, if your child, the children of authoritarian parents, when they grow up with when you grow up with a strict authoritarian parent, they tend to follow rules much of the time, but their obedience comes at a price. Very sad. Children of authoritarian parents are at a higher risk of development self-esteem problems because their opinions are invalued. So instead of coming out to say, you know what, I think my voice needs to be heard, I think I need to say something, they're like, well, my opinion doesn't count. Nobody would want to listen to me because that's what the parents have already taught them to be. So you're affecting your child's self-esteem. You're affecting their confidence level. You're not making them grow. You're not making them, say things. You're not making them share experiences. You're just going to make them just take from other people and they don't give. Meanwhile, they have something really great to give. You're killing that child. So that child may become hostile or aggressive. Yes, children of authoritarian parents may become aggressive and hostile. Rather than think about how to do things better in future, they often focus on the anger they feel towards their parents. And since authoritarian parents are often strict, their children may grow up to be good liars in an effort to avoid punishment. They're like, I can't afford to be punished for these things. I'm gonna lie. I'm gonna lie and lie and lie again. So they keep lying and lying just to avoid punishment. And that is what you do for your children if you're an authoritarian parent. But note, I'm not saying authoritarian parents are not good or authoritarian parenting style is not good. It is good to an extent, but not too much. You need to let your children grow. You need to make them understand that your voice needs to be heard. You can be silent. Yeah. Okay, I'll move on to the next one, which is the authoritative parent. Remember, the first one is authoritarian. Now the second one is authoritative parenting style. So now, like the first one, I said authoritarian, I said something. So if it rings a bell in your ear, that's where you fall. So that's the same thing I'm going to do with authoritative parenting. So are you the kind of parent who put a lot of effort into creating and maintaining a positive relationship with your child? If you are that, then you fall under authoritative parenting. But don't lie, check yourself. Well, do I really fall in this category? You need to ask. Then do you explain the reason behind some rules or behind all rules? If you do, you are an authoritative parenting person. And then you also need to ask yourself, do you enforce rules and give consequences, but take your child's feelings into consideration? Consequences. But they also take their children's opinion into account. They're like, why did you do that thing? Why did you disobey the law? Why did you break the law? Why did you disobey the rule? You know the rules in this house. Why did you break it? But they don't just go like the authoritarian parent. They don't just go boozer on the child. They're like, okay, come sit. Let's have a talk. Let's, interact. Why did you do this? Those are kind of, method that authoritarian parents use. Authoritative parents use. Okay, so another one is that they validate their feelings. Yes, authoritative parents validate their children's feelings while also making it clear that the adults are ultimately in charge. Although they say, okay, you know what, I've heard you, but also know that I'm the one in charge. But that doesn't mean that they automatically shut you up, or they automatically say to you, keep shut, I don't want to hear from you. No, they don't do any of those things. All right. So those are authoritative parents. And also authoritative parents invest time and energy into preventing behavior problems before they start. Those are authoritative parents. They use positive discipline strategies to reinforce the good behaviors like praise and reward system. Yes, authoritative parents invest time and energy into parenting behavior problems before they even start, and then they also use positive discipline strategies to reinforce good behaviors like praise and reward system. Children raised with authoritative discipline tends to be happy and successful, and they are also more likely to be good at making decisions and evaluating the safety risk of their own. And according to research, they found out that kids who have authoritative parents are most likely to become responsible adults who feel more comfortable expressing themselves, have good and high self-esteem, and they don't care about what this one is saying. They do what they want to do, and they actually think about it before they do it. So authoritarian is the first one, authoritative is the second one, which from all indications and from all discussion sounds like a kind of parenting style that most parents should adopt. And then the third one is permissive parenting. Permissive parenting. These are the kind of parents that they will set rule, but they will not. It's okay to break them now. They are children. Children will always be children. So yeah, so like the statements again, I'm going to say this one again. So if any of this question or statement rings a bell in your ear, then maybe you fall under permissive parenting kind of person. So do you set rules but rarely enforce them? Ask yourself. Do you give out, are you the kind of person that you don't give out consequences very often? You need to ask yourself, do you think your children will learn best with little interference from you? Then you also need to ask and, check yourself if you fall in any of this. Do you set rules but barely, you don't even enforce them? Are you the kind of person that don't give out consequences very much often? Or do you think your children will learn best with little interference from you? if any of the statements sounds familiar, then you might be a permissive parent, or you might have one way or the other adopted or be adopting the permissive parenting style. Permissive parents are lenient. They often only step in when there's a really, really big issue. They're those kind of parents that the children will call, my dad is a jazzy kind of parent, my mommy is a jazzy kind of mom, that kind of thing. The mom is just, they understand everything that's going on. Not as if they don't set rules, they do set rules, but then they understand that she's a child now, I'm okay, relationship, what does she know? So we're gonna let it go. But next time we don't do it again. Next time she does it again, and then she's just a child, let her go. So those are the kind of parents that fall under permissive parenting style. So they're quite forgiving, and they adopt an attitude of kids will be kids. Like I said earlier, children will be children. They adopt that kind of style. So when they use consequences, they may not make the consequences stick. They might not even get to use anything. So they might give privileges back if a child begs, or they may allow a child to get out of time out early if it promises to be good. Like maybe you say to your child, I'm going to ground you, and the child is begging, continues begging, and you're like, okay, you're not grounded anymore. Yes, so permissive parents usually take on more of a friend role than a parent role. They are more friends to their children than parenting roles, and they often encourage their children to talk with them about their problems, but they usually don't push much effort into discouraging poor choices or bad behavior. Kids who grow with permissive parents are most likely to struggle academically. They may exhibit more behavioral problems as they don't appreciate authority and rules. Yes, because they know that their parents won't do anything. They might just do some things that are bad, and like my mom will forgive me when I cry to her, when I show her that I'm remorseful, when I show her that I am sad, my mom will just forgive me, or my dad would just forgive me, or my parents would forgive me. Yeah, so children of permissive type of upbringing, they exhibit more moral behaviors because they're not scared, because they know their parents won't do much, and so they don't appreciate authority and rules, and they often have low self-esteem and may report a lot of sadness because the parents are just there like, do what you want to do, let you be. Okay, so they are also at the higher risk of health problem like obesity, because permissive parents struggle to limit junk food intake because they are like, do what you have to do, you're gonna be a child, will always be a child, children will always be children, so they allow you to do whatever it is you want to do, and in the process of doing what you want to do, you're taking a lot of food that you're not supposed to, you do things that you're not supposed to, you go places where you're not supposed to, so you might have a lot of problem with that. So they may even more likely to have dental cavity problems because permissive parents often don't enforce good habits like ensuring child brush his or her teeth regularly. Yes, it's that bad. When you're that kind of, you'll be like, I want my child to have a free life, no stress. I don't want my child to think I'm a bad person or I'm a bad parent. So I'm just going to let them grow themselves, let them be wherever they want to be. And in that process, you might just be spoiling your child. But then there is another level of parenting that just means you have spoiled that child totally. And this is the uninvolved parenting style. Yes. So like the statement again, are you the person that you don't ask your child about school or homework? You're so very uninvolved, man, sir. Yes. Do you really know where your child is or who she or he is with? You're so uninvolved. You don't spend time with your children. You are very much uninvolved. Yes. So if this statement sounds familiar, you might be an uninvolved parent. Uninvolved parents tend to have little knowledge of what your children are doing. Like they don't care. You do your thing and I do my thing. As far as I'm bringing money to the house, as far as there's food in the house, do your thing and I do my thing. So there tend to be few rules. Children may not receive much guidance, nurturing, and parental attention. Uninvolved parents expect their children to raise themselves, yes, and they don't devote much time or energy into, meeting the child's basic needs. They don't even do all those things. They don't care. Uninvolved parents may be neglectful, but it's not always intentional. A parent with a mental health issue or substance abuse problem, for example, may not be able to care for a child's physical and emotional needs on a constant basis. Yes, so on some uninvolved parents, it's not intentional that he or she wants to be uninvolved. Some of them it's because, they have some other issues going on for them, and they haven't even finished taking care of themselves, and you're telling them to go take care of the child. And then I know some of you would say, but why give it to the child if you cannot take care of the child? But something is to happen, and we just can't blame some people for whatever is happening to them. It is that it's happening to them. So, and other times, uninvolved parent lacks knowledge about child development. And sometimes they are simply overwhelmed with other problems like work, paying bills, and managing a household. So children with uninvolved parents are likely to struggle with self-esteem issues. They tend to perform poorly in school because they're not well attended to. They're not even attended to, not even well attended to. And they also exhibit frequent behavior problems and rank low in happiness. That's very true, because they don't have love surrounding them. They don't have people who express love, who show love surrounding them. So they're mostly always sad, depressed. They're not always happy about things that are going on. So children who are in this category feel very out of place with other people. Sometimes parents don't just fit into just one category. One, because we have a father and a mother. So one might be permissive, the other might be authoritative. One might be an authoritarian, the other might be an authoritative person. So that's how it is. One might be uninvolved, the other might be permissive. So that's how it is. So sometimes parents don't just fit into just one category. You see that some people would say, my mom is a cool person, my dad is the lion of the tribe of our house. And then you see some people say their mom is the Margaret Thatcher, while their dad is a what's up dad. Yes. So don't despair if there are times and areas when you tend to be permissive, and there are other times when you are more authoritative. So it's okay that sometimes you are just this and sometimes you are that. But obviously from research, it shows that authoritative parenting is the best parenting style. But even if you tend to identify with other parenting styles more, there are steps you can also take. You can do a matchup. Yeah, you can do a mixed parenting with authoritarian, with authoritative, but never mix uninvolved. Yes. So you should mix only the three major ones. Never mix uninvolved. Uninvolved means you don't care about the child anymore. That is uninvolved to me. So, but you can mix the authoritarian, you can mix the authoritative, and you can also mix the permissive kind of parenting style as well. So how does a parenting style affect the children? Like I've told you before, children of authoritarian parents, a parent who offers too much structure and too little communication, they often feel insecure. They perform for approval of people. Yes, that's why they perform, and connect approval with love. They may have low self-esteem and have difficulty in societal or social relationship. Yes. And then children of permissive parenting, a child who is raised without structure may have difficulty self-managing his behavior. Yes. Freedom without limits can be destructive to child development. You need to know that, without consequence. Yes. Children don't have a sense of boundaries without consequence. As a result, the child from a permissive home will seek structure to help them feel valued, validated, and of course secured as well. He may have problem with relationship and lack the self-discipline necessary for social interaction with his peers. His schoolwork may suffer from lack of organization and motivation. This child often lacks responsibility and has difficulty with boundaries and commitment, and is unaware of the importance of significant consequences. Take notes. Then children of uninvolved parents. This kind of neglect can be very dangerous to a child because it affects his sense of self. No self-esteem and well-being. Those two, they're out of place. So it affects the sense of self. This impacts a child's ability to trust, not only in relationship, but also in adult. You're the kind of parent who you're supposed to put food on the table, but you did not put food on the table. You're affecting that child big time. So not only relationship, they have issues with, and trust issues with, they also have it adult. It also makes that child, take on responsibility far too early. When the parent is not there to take care of the child, then he's going to fend for himself. And imagine if the person has siblings. He's the first child that will take on the responsibility of both the father and the mother. So robbing him of his childhood might not be good. It's not good. You need to let those children have experiences of childhood. Yeah. So children of uninvolved parents often have problems with intimacy and friendship with peers because they don't even have it at home. So to build it outside the home, it's going to look very difficult, except by some grace and by some miracle. definitely get help. And then children of authoritative parents, which by far and from research is like the best kind of parenting style. The optimal parenting style for most children is the authoritative parenting style. Authoritative parents regularly communicate expectations and potential consequences, and then thereby raising a child in an environment that provides both security and confidence, which helps them, it helps the child build self-esteem. Like me now, anyway, I can talk and say my mind and I walk out. Done, I'm done. Yeah, so, authoritative parenting helps, build both security and confidence in the life of a child. And also because of the example his parents set for him or her, he learns valuable social skills, and it's also have the healthy relationship with others. Yes, you have healthy relationship with others. You don't find it difficult to relate with other people. No, there is no difficulty to relate with other people. And at the end of the day, parents must be parents. Yeah, you must be what you want to see. So from a very young age, your child will mimic you and your behavior. Whatever you do, however you react, however you talk, however you handle issues, your child will mimic it. And it's what they see from you, what they see you do, that they will also do. So we may have off days, and we all make parenting mistakes from time to time. But always remember, your child is always watching. Parents need to know that. Your child is always watching, and what you are teaching him through your parenting skills has the potential effect and ability to affect every aspect of the life of your child. So I hope I've done justice to this topic, and I hope that you've learned. I really have learned something. Now I'm going to go keep reading up on authoritative parenting, and now I can merge it with permissive and authoritarian as well. Yes, even in as much as they've said authoritative is the best, but then we still need to be able to match up the other two. Never mix uninvolved. Uninvolved means you're just letting that child be, and that would not be good. You don't want that child to be successful later on, and you now come and say, that's my son, that's my daughter. That child is going to send you away. Imagine you come and say, that's my son, that's my daughter. I'd be like, but you never showed up, you never took care of me. Why are you coming to claim me? So I'm sure you don't want that to happen. So learn to mix 1, 2, 3 of the parenting style, and God will help us, as parents, to train up our children in the way of the Lord and in the right way. I am Olayemi Oluwadamilala, and please comment how what kind of parenting style did you grow up to know? How did your parents' style of parenting affect you, and what can you say about this parenting styles? I would love to hear from you. Make sure you like the button, you click on the like button, and also subscribe and make your comments and your contributions. Thank you for watching. Thank you for learning. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for contributing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Something more interesting is coming next week. Till we meet again next week, by the grace of God. I remain Olayemi Oluwadamilala, and this is the O Double channel. Have a great day.